One of the things that I hear most often from people is that they find tracking triggering. And when I investigate or ask them more questions about why they find it triggering, it inevitably leads to them telling me about how they have a toxic or difficult relationship with tracking because they generally use it as a way to beat themselves up. Now, this is something that I can totally relate to. But here's what I know for fact is that if you want to be successful, if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to create that dream life, the finances, the company, the job, whatever it is, the relationship, there has to be some level of tracking. There has to be some way of measuring how you're doing. There has to be some way for you to know whether you're going in the right direction or not. Now, I've created 6 things, and these are actually pillars within the Worthy brand. The T, of course, in Worthy is all about tracking. And these are 6 pillars that we decided and that I decided based on my own experience that I think are actually the most important things to be tracking on a regular basis if you truly want to be successful. And I also want to remind you, if you're listening to this and you have a triggering or toxic relationship with tracking, that ultimately it's about remembering that tracking is just feedback. That's all it is. It is telling you whether you're going in the right direction or not, if you need to change something or not. That's all it is. And the reason we often find tracking triggering is because of what we make it mean. But remember this, and this applies to everything in your life. Nothing has any meaning other than the meaning that you choose to give it. I'll tell you a story actually before we get started, before I share with you the 6 things that you should be tracking if you want to be successful. And it's my own toxic relationship with tracking. Now, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you and tell you that one of the things that has been a challenge for me in my life, throughout my life, has been my weight. And so, in the famous words of Ludacris, my weight has been up and down like strippers' booties. I have gained weight and lost weight and gained weight and lost weight. And so I had a really toxic relationship with the scale because that generally was what I used to measure whether I was being successful or not. And I had a trainer named Sandra Buchert. You can ask her. Absolutely love her. She's a trainer at One-on-One Personal Fitness, and she was my personal trainer for a while. And Sandra got so frustrated with me that one day she showed up at my door and marched herself into my bathroom to confiscate my scale. Because she said to me, you know what? You're measuring your success. You're measuring your worth based on an arbitrary number. What does it even mean? What does that mean? And as she lovingly said to me, she said, you know what? We could stand here and you could spit a pound. Because she's like, it's a number. It doesn't tell you whether you're hydrated, whether you're dehydrated, whether that's muscle weight. What is it? Fat? You don't know. And so I had made it mean so much. It literally dictated how I felt about myself. I'd wake up and it became a ritual for me. Wake up, step on the scale. Eat something, step on the scale. Go to the bathroom, step on the scale. Like it was this number that literally held me in bondage, held me prisoner, that my whole life and how I felt about myself was based on those numbers. But when I think about it logically, it makes no sense. And that's a lot of what we do is whatever your number is, whatever your thing is, whether it's the scale or your bank account or whatever, it ultimately is just feedback. It's telling you whether, based on the goal you've defined, you're moving towards it or away from it. Are you making progress or are you not making progress? I like to call it your GPS, goal progress system. And so what I learned from myself is that, yes, absolutely, those numbers might matter, but not in isolation. So for me, the scale weight, yeah, it was feedback, but I could look at it in terms of, well, did I work out every day? Did I get good sleep? How am I feeling? That's the better indicator. How do I feel? And so with Worthy, I wanted us to have some common framework of tracking that we could all track that ultimately would give us more of a 360 view of our lives, that we're not looking at just one number in isolation. And also a way for us to track that ultimately could fit into any goal, regardless of what it is that you're working on. And so my team is actually working really hard on creating an app. And as part of that app, we have a tracker. And these are the 6 keys that we measure in that tracker and that I ultimately think are the keys to building a successful life, building a life that you love, and stepping into the most extraordinary version of yourself. The first key is hydration. Stop. Wait a minute. I know you're thinking, what? We're talking about hydration when it comes to my goals? Stay with me. Here's why hydration matters. Because ultimately, we're looking at ourselves holistically, looking at you as a whole human. And we know, based on research, that hydration matters. It's the way that we get rid of toxins in our body. It's also based on something that I learned recently, the fact that your brain is 75% made up of water. And so by the point that you feel thirsty, by the point that you actually feel you're dehydrated, you've long been dehydrated. And so it really is about making sure that every day you're hydrating so that you're completely taking care of your body. And part of that includes making sure that you're getting enough water so that you're cleansing your body, you're flushing out all the toxins from your body, and you're making sure you're taking care of what your brain needs to function optimally. The second thing of the 6 things that I'm sharing that you need to be tracking on the regular to make sure that you're successful is taking care of your body and your wellness. I know. You've heard it from everywhere and everyone that you need to move your body for at least 30 minutes a day. But are you doing it? Are you truly taking care of your body? Are you making sure that you're moving your body? Are you making sure that you're taking care of your general health and well-being? And that means what you're putting into your body in terms of nutrition. And it also means that are you taking care of all of the things that include things like your multivitamins and making sure that you're taking the right supplements to help you perform at your best, to be in optimal health. So the second thing is all about taking care of your body through movement, as well as taking care of your body through nutrition and supplementation. And ultimately as well, here's one thing that I want to say. And I speak as the girl who's probably tried every diet there is under the sun. When it comes to feeding your body and nourishing your body, I don't know that there is a one size fits all. You ultimately have to find what works best for you. There is no coach, there is no nutritionist who is going to be able to say what makes you feel your best. It's about you taking ownership of your body and understanding your body and what makes it feel its best. The third thing that you should be doing on the regular and that you should be tracking on the regular is journaling. I know, that's a surprise to you, right? Here's why journaling matters. And I cannot believe I'm about to do this, but I'm about to quote Gary Vee. I remember watching a speech that he gave once, and he said, the greatest power that someone can have, the thing that will serve you the best in your life, is self-awareness. I had to do a double take coming from Gary Vee. I'm like, whoa, that's profound. But he's right. Ultimately, everything about how we move through the world, everything about who we are, who we want to be, stems from being self-aware. And one of the most powerful tools that I have found when it comes to developing your self-awareness is journaling. When you can get what's up here and all those thoughts and all of the things that are whirling in your mind down on paper, and you can actually look at them in the cold light of day, it really helps you to become aware of the thoughts that you think, and ultimately questioning those thoughts. So, self awareness, and for me, the best way that I found of self awareness, of course, you can, absolutely go and seek professional help in terms of counseling, but it also can come from you journaling, you writing down your thoughts and analyzing what you think. Because remember, you are not your thoughts, you are the thinker of your thoughts. So that's number three in the list of the 6 things that are the most powerful things that you can be doing regularly and that you can be tracking regularly for you to be successful. Now, the fourth thing is one that we've all heard a lot of: gratitude. And it is so important. But here's what I've learned about gratitude. See, back in the day, back when Oprah had a regular talk show, I remember hearing Sarah Ben Bronick on her being interviewed, and she talks about her book of gratitude, and I ran off and bought the book, and I started to do my gratitude list every single day, the 5 things that I was grateful for. And it was absolutely fantastic for helping me bring awareness to my gratitude, for me to go through every day thinking about what was I grateful for. But here's what ended up happening. After a while, it started to feel routine. It started to feel rote for me. Just get to the end of the day and okay, I've got to find 5 things. Okay, I'm grateful for breathing. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for water. And it just became a chore. It became another thing to check off the to-do list. And so I actually recently changed how I do my gratitude practice. And what I decided is I'm not going to tie a number to it. It might be one thing, it might be 20 things that I'm grateful for in a day. But every day I'm still going through the day looking for things to be grateful for. And at the end of the day, I did set myself a minimum standard, and that is at least one thing that I truly felt gratitude for. And something else that I also recently started doing is extending gratitude beyond the now. And yes, we absolutely should be in the now and should be grateful for the things that we're experiencing in the now. But I also realized that I can be grateful for the things that have already happened in the past. And I can also be grateful for the things that happen in the future, or the things that I want to create in the future. Now let's pause on that for a second. What do I mean? So when we think about the things that happened in the past, everything that happened in the past has led to you being in this moment now. They're not great things that have happened. They're bad things that have happened. They're wonderful things that have happened. And for each of those things, they led to this moment now. You are the product of all of those choices, all of those decisions, all of the things that happened in your life. And yes, everything is a gift. When you approach life from that perspective, the fact that everything is a gift, then you can look at even some of the things that happened in the past that were not great things with gratitude. Because if nothing else, they opened your eyes to what life could be. They opened your eyes to what you didn't want in your life. I also think there's so much for us to be grateful for previous versions of ourselves. In my case, I am incredibly grateful for the 40-year-old version of me. So I'm 46, and 6 years ago, I made what has turned out to be an incredible decision to drop everything that was in my life at that time. My husband lovingly refers to this as my midlife crisis. To drop everything, and despite all the fear and all the anxiety I felt, I went back to school. I moved to New York. I moved to a new city that I'd never been to before. And I lived in New York for 3 years. And I am so deeply grateful for 40-year-old Sandra, who had the courage, even though she was scared bleepless, to do this thing that she did, because you know what it did? It opened her up to a whole new world. It opened her up to all of these experiences that she would never have had. It opened her up to some of the best friendships that she's ever created in her life. And so I'm grateful to her because of 40-year-old Sandra, I get to sit here now and do what I'm doing now, which is truly the passion of my life, which I truly feel in this season of my life is my purpose. But I don't think any of this could be happening if 40-year-old me had not made that brave decision. So, what can you go back and be grateful for in your past that you did, that you didn't do, that ultimately has led to you being where you are? What can you go back and be grateful for in terms of hard lessons that you had to learn that ultimately allow you today to dream of a different future, to dream of a better future? And here's something else that I've learned is that gratitude for the things that have not yet happened is your greatest demonstration of belief in yourself and belief in your ability to create the future that you want. So it's not that you're not living in the now. It's not that you're not grateful for what is happening in the now. But I also believe that there can be that part of you that can be grateful for the things that are to come, the things that you're working towards, the fact that you can step forward with all assuredness that whatever your dream is, that you're going to get there. That level of belief in that future that you're creating, you can be grateful for it now. So that's step 4 in terms of the 6 things that you can be tracking that will ultimately lead to the best version of your life. The 6 things that you can be doing on a regular basis that'll lead to your success. The 5th thing is something that has been a part of my life and has truly been such a savior for me. And so much so that I actually decided to become certified in being a teacher, and that is meditation. Meditation has truly been such a gift in my life. And here's why I think that we all should be practicing meditation, mindfulness, because ultimately, everything that we create comes from our mind. We create with our thoughts, which ultimately become our actions. And meditation allows you the purest way of connecting truly with yourself. Connecting with that self that knows that you are destined for greatness, that self that knows that you deserve to have the most extraordinary life possible. Through meditation, through being quiet, through stilling your mind, it allows you to connect with that inner voice, that intuition, that ultimately is your guide, that ultimately is the sense, that 6th sense of what direction should I take? What should I be doing? What are the right choices for me? And that can only come when you still your mind enough to hear that stillness, that quiet, that little voice that is your guide. And so the 5th thing, the 5th most powerful thing that you can do when it comes to truly being successful and stepping into your most extraordinary life is making meditation and mindfulness a regular part of your day. And the 6th thing, I think this one's going to surprise you. The 6th thing that is so powerful when it comes to you truly creating a life you love, truly creating success in your life, is asking yourself this question every single day. Did I experience joy? So many of us are going through life just existing. So many of us are going through life deferring our happiness. I'll be happy when. And yet life is passing us by every single day. And you should really be looking at creating a life that allows you to experience joy every single day. Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get me wrong. I am not being all Pollyanna and everything skibbity scobbity unicorns and rainbows. Absolutely, in life, there is suck. There are hard things that happen. But as you're journeying towards whatever your goals are, whatever those goals that you're continually creating, whatever that highest version of yourself is, ask yourself, am I happy? Am I experiencing joy? Am I taking care of myself? Am I allowing myself moments of joy every single day? And they don't have to be massive things. Every single day, ask yourself, did I experience a moment of joy today? And if you find yourself experiencing more and more days where the answer is no, then you need to go back to the drawing board and think about, is this the life that you truly want to live? Are you living with purpose and on purpose? And so those are the 6 keys, the 6 pillars that in Worthy, we're tracking under T, which is all about tracking, which is part of our GPS, our goal progress system. And these are the things that we're tracking that ultimately lead to a successful life, regardless of what your goal is, regardless of what your dream is. Am I making sure that my body is taken care of through hydration? Am I making sure that my body is taken care of through physical activity, through nourishing it? Am I making sure that I'm journaling so that I develop self-awareness? Am I experiencing gratitude and expressing gratitude every single day? Am I spending time with myself in meditation to allow me to hear my intuition, to feel whether what I'm doing is the right thing for me? And the 6th thing, am I experiencing joy? Am I happy? I hope you'll make those 6 things a part of what you assess every day in your life. And I hope that when we launch the Worthy app, that you will sign up and you will use the app to help you track these 6 things. And as always, I want to remind you that regardless of what your dream is, regardless of what that extraordinary life looks like for you, may I be a reminder to you that you are worthy to be, to do, to have whatever your heart desires. I'm Sandra Chuma. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day.